Cristiano Ronaldo, a name that has become a global symbol of power, fame, and athletic excellence. But what if I told you his move to Saudi Arabia wasn't just about football? What if behind the glittering headlines and mind-blowing salary lies something far more secret and far more unsettling? You see, this isn't just a contract story. It's a story of power, silence, and unimaginable wealth. A story that connects one man's legacy to the ambitions of an entire kingdom. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear is not in the news, not in the papers, and definitely not in the contract. This is the part they don't want you to know. Number 1, the public deal. When Ronaldo signed with Al Nassr in early 2023, the world was shocked. A footballing icon, still capable of greatness, choosing to walk away from Europe's elite leagues for Saudi Arabia. The reported salary? Over $200 million a year. It was called the biggest football deal in history. He became the highest paid athlete on the planet. But almost immediately, something didn't sit right. This wasn't just a football transfer. It felt orchestrated, massive, strategic. And when journalists started digging deeper, questions emerged. Why was the Saudi government so heavily involved? Why were there vague mentions of ambassadorial duties, global appearances, and political engagements? And most importantly, why wasn't the full contract ever made public? The deeper you dig, the stranger it gets, because the money he's being paid publicly might just be the tip of the iceberg. 2. The secret clauses. Beyond the public salary, there are strong claims of hidden perks and silent wealth transfer. Insiders say Ronaldo wasn't just promised a salary, he was promised an empire. Let's start with property. One of the most luxurious villas in Riyadh, given to him. No rent, no mortgage, just handed over. A rotating fleet of luxury vehicles, not sponsored, delivered and maintained at zero cost. Unlimited access to private aircraft for him and his family, anytime, anywhere. But what's truly chilling is the rumored offshore trust, estimated to hold over $500 million, tax-free, invisible to the public eye. None of it was reported in mainstream media. No paper trail, no questions asked. And here's where fear starts creeping in. Because the scale of these perks suggests something deeper than sport. It suggests a deal not just made with a club, but with a regime. And once you're in that deep, you don't just walk away. 3. The Saudi Vision 2030 connection. Saudi Arabia isn't hiding their ambition. Vision 2030 is their plan to transform everything. No more dependency on oil. They want tourism, entertainment, investment, and most of all, global attention. And who better to be the face of that transformation than Cristiano Ronaldo? He wasn't just brought to play football. He was brought to rebrand a nation. He became the smiling face of a future the world was told to believe in. But that raises the question, is he just an athlete? Or has he been absorbed into a grand, well-funded narrative? Ronaldo's appearances went beyond football. Meetings with ministers, photos with royalty, endorsements of the kingdom's reforms. None of it part of a typical player's duty. And yet he complied, he participated, he became part of the vision. But how much of this was his choice? And how much was part of that secret deal, the one the public will never see? 4. Life of royalty. Behind closed doors, Ronaldo is reportedly living like royalty. Not like a celebrity, not like an athlete, like an actual royal. His security detail isn't just bodyguards. They're ex-military, handpicked by the state. His accommodations go beyond luxury. Whispers speak of private palaces, secret gardens, high-security compounds designed for elite foreign dignitaries. And his access? Limitless. He's rumored to visit private islands owned by royal families, sail on yachts the size of buildings, and dine in halls where the world's wealth is whispered in shadows, not spoken aloud. Some reports even suggest he's been offered permanent citizenship, a level of acceptance very few foreigners have ever received. And in these circles, wealth isn't counted in dollars, but in loyalty. You don't receive these gifts without pledging something in return. And when that return is your silence, your loyalty, your image, that's when you realize this isn't about sport anymore. This is about control. 5. The price of fortune. There's a saying, when the crown is heavy, the head must bow. Cristiano Ronaldo might be richer than ever, but what has he sacrificed? He no longer speaks freely about global issues. He has remained silent on controversies surrounding the kingdom. He has become perfectly neutral. which in itself speaks volumes. Because when you're given this much, when your fortune is tied to kings, your voice is no longer yours alone. And that's the real fear. What happens when an icon like Ronaldo becomes part of something he can't leave? When you've been paid not just to perform, but to obey? Some call it sports diplomacy. Others call it manipulation on a global scale. Either way, Ronaldo's fortune in Saudi Arabia might be the most expensive silence in football history. So what do we really know? We know Cristiano Ronaldo is richer than ever. We know his deal goes beyond football. We know he has become part of a kingdom's future, and possibly its secrets. And what we don't know is what he's agreed to behind closed doors. This isn't just about football anymore. It's about image, influence, control, and maybe something even more dangerous. The next time you see him smile on screen, remember, sometimes the brightest stars cast the darkest shadows. What do you believe? Is Cristiano Ronaldo simply living his best life? Or has he stepped into a world he can no longer control? Let's talk about it in the comments. If you found this video eye-opening, subscribe for more stories like this, stories hidden in plain sight. Because the game you watch might not be the only game being played.